This is the unpopular but effective quit smoking advice that nobody wants to give you. And this is important because quitting smoking will feel out of reach until you do this, what I'm about to show you in this video. And I want to be clear. Every smoker can break free, but there is one thing, one foundation that without it, we feel like the whole world conspires against us quitting smoking. So we feel stuck and unmotivated and drained. Do you ever feel like that? And we tell ourselves, I cannot do the thing that I want to do because something is preventing me. My spouse, my significant other, my friends, my family, work stress, pressure to quit, the fact that I have a surgery and I need to quit, so I feel like it's not my choice. But something outside of me is preventing me from doing what I know is right for me. And that is the pattern underneath, putting the blame and therefore the power somewhere outside of ourselves to something out of our control. And that's why we feel stuck and we feel powerless. So the unpopular quit smoking advice is this, is to own your quit. Own your quit. That is the most powerful mindset. Owning your quit means taking responsibility for your success, to take full ownership of your success, your freedom, your effort. And let me explain why this is important. This is what I share with our Nicotine Freedom Program members. We all have a locus of control. Locus of control is the degree to which you believe you have control over your actions and your success in something. It's where you place your power, inside or outside, because there are always things within our control and there are always things outside of our control, right? Outside of our control is other people's choices, how others behave, their opinions, what happens around us, the past, our work, our future. Maybe sometimes there are things we can influence, but we cannot control. Now, within our control is our choices, our commitment, how we speak to ourselves, the advice we choose to follow, how we respond to the situations that are out of our control, how we move from setbacks or how fast we move from setbacks is what we give our energy to. This is within our control. So here's why I'm telling you this. We either have an external locus of control. This is believing and acting as if your success, in quitting smoking in our case, believing and acting as if your success depends on external factors, on things outside of you changing so you can do the thing that you want or need to do. Or we can have an internal locus of control, which is believing and acting as if the power and the control over your success lies within you. Now, this is not a personality trait. In different areas of your life, you may have a different locus of control. Maybe for your family matters, you have an internal locus of control. Maybe when it comes to your work, you have internal locus of control. But maybe for quitting smoking, from quitting nicotine, you have an external locus of control. Now, how would you know? For example, if you find yourself saying, I'm going to quit smoking when my spouse quits, or I'm going to quit smoking when I have no stress in my life or less stress in my life, but that time of less stress never seems to come for you. Or you tell yourself, I would do it more easily if I didn't have pressure from other people and circumstances to quit. Or we tell ourselves, I'm going to be smoke-free as long as nobody stresses me out, as long as nobody triggers me, as long as nobody pressures me. So when it comes to your freedom from nicotine, where do you place your power? Where does your control lie? And it's important to recognize that because maybe logically, you know, things outside of you should not have control over your quit. But what matters is how you act, because desire manifests in words, logic manifests in words, but beliefs manifest in behavior. So if you notice that you wait or hope for the stars to align in a way for things outside of your control to become more favorable for you to quit smoking, then you likely have an external locus of control. And if you realize you do, release that. Release that. Because it keeps you stuck and it steals your power. So instead of waiting for other people or circumstances to become favorable so you can change, do the thing that is right for you and have extreme ownership. Ownership means responsibility. Here's why. Most people We share responsibility with someone or something outside of us, like our spouse, our work, our circumstances, external pressures that make quitting important. We share the responsibility for our quit with things outside of us. And as a result of this, we give away our power. And listen, even if you feel that you are more likely to be successful when you have support from your loved ones, or when you have less stress, or when you have more time, this is reasonable to think that. But if you don't have that, you have to move forward without that condition. Because this is the truth. The truth is, when you take 100% responsibility for your success, your effort, you also have 100% of the control and the power, and therefore you have success. When you hold the power, nobody can take it away from you. However, and we do this a lot, and I've done this in the past as well, when you assign responsibility to external circumstances or other people who didn't ask for it or shouldn't have it, you burden them if they're people, but you automatically give away your power, and that makes you powerless. That's one. But it also leaves the door open for your craving mind to lure you back into your addiction because you don't have agency. When you take responsibility for something, it gives you the power to change it. Responsibility makes you response-able. Taking responsibility makes you response-able, not reaction-prone. Let me give you an example. Let's say you quit smoking and something stressful happens in your life, which is bound to happen, right? If you own your quit, you're more likely to choose to respond in that stressful situation in healthy ways, because smoking is not an option for you. But when you don't own your quit, it is easier to find yourself in a position where you rationalize smoking just one cigarette. So you react with your old pattern because you don't have agency. Things outside of you can easily influence what you are doing. So take 100% responsibility, and that also means quitting smoking for you. Doing it for you. And I'm not saying that quitting smoking so you can be around and healthy and present for your loved ones is not a good reason. It is a very powerful reason, very important, very powerful. But you may know some people who quit because their spouse told them to. And of course, they relapse after an argument with their spouse or when they're alone. Why? Because there is a difference between quitting smoking because you're moved and motivated and inspired by the love for your loved ones and by default limited time you have with them. That's one thing. And it's completely different to quit as a favor to others because they asked, because they begged, because they threatened or guilt you into it, or at least if that's how you perceive the situation. This is just as unhelpful because you don't have agency. That's the difference. In one case, you are the agent of change. In the other one, you're not. So you don't own your quit. So when you quit just for others, this takes away your personal responsibility in your outcome. Oh, I did it for you. But when you do it for you, so you can be there for them, well, you can see that there is a world apart in ownership there, right? Even if you need to quit because of a health condition, because of life circumstances, and you feel you have no choice, the truth is you have the choice of how you respond to the things you cannot control. You have the freedom to own your quit. Now, one last thing I want to share with you about the locus of control. Many times, when we have an external locus of control, when it comes to quitting smoking or quitting vaping, we expect other people around us to adjust their lives because we quit. We expect, in a way, the world to stop because we did something good for ourselves. But the truth is, this is likely not going to happen, right? And sometimes when people have an external locus of control, what they do is they seek the appreciations of others, the people around them, to tell them, hey, you did something good for yourself. And when we're not getting that recognition, we feel demotivated because we're not owning it. Then in an attempt to express the magnitude of what we achieved, we start focusing and overemphasizing our struggles and tell everyone how hard it is because we believe when we do something hard, others are more likely to acknowledge it because we don't know how else to express that I did something incredible. Now, to be clear, there is a difference between asking for help If there is help to be asked, you should ask it. You should express what you want, of course. But what I'm talking about here is trying to elicit someone's attention and acknowledgement by seeking negative attention. Our intentions are good, but this rarely works. And of course, when we intentionally focus on how hard something is, the worst thing is that we listen. We focus on what's not ideal instead of everything that's working out. And of course, what we focus on expands and creates our reality. And after helping thousands of people quit smoking, I can tell you that quitting smoking is as hard as we make it to be. And if you keep telling yourself it's hard, that's what you will experience, because the way you speak to yourself affects your reality. But if you focus on the fact that you're doing it, all the wins you have along the way, and if you let it be easy, it will be. So, do it for you, even if nobody's watching, even if nobody notices, even if nobody cares, even if everyone pressures you. Do it for you. Make this an agreement between you and yourself when you're alone, because you are watching. When you get into that mindset, this automatically makes you more motivated and empowered, and you can take the right steps for you and follow through on those steps. Make sense? So let me know in the comments, when it comes to quitting smoking, or quitting vaping, do you have an internal locus of control or an external locus of control? And if you're ready to quit smoking, but you're not sure where to start, check the resources in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.